I think it's time for us to go.
It's school holidays, but there's nothing relaxing about Teresa Sutton's day.
I do seem to spend an awful lot of time on the road, driving, picking kids up, dropping them off, picking them up from various appointments.
She and her 18-year-old granddaughter Grace do the weekly grocery shop at a charity-run discount store. At age 64, Teresa is much busier and much poorer than she'd planned. Because instead of relaxing into retirement, she's raising 2 teenaged grandchildren.
Okay, thank you, my dear. My daughter and my 6-year-old grandson died in 2005. After Sarah and Will died, I can remember I saw them in their casket and I made them a promise that I would always be there to help raise these kids.
4 years ago, she was awarded custody of Grace and younger brother Jimmy, and like thousands of other older Australians, has found herself thrust back into the role of full-time carer.
This is a photo of me and my mum when I was younger. This was just before the accident.
The crash that killed her mother and brother left Grace in a coma. She's got a brain injury that slowed her development. But she does understand the sacrifices her nan has made.
She cares about us a lot, like more than anyone else has, I think. And she's willing to put herself out on the line.
16-year-old Jimmy has been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress and needs to be homeschooled.
They need me. I need them. This is what it has to be. You've done really well with remembering that. But as far as financial and community understanding, it's just not fair.
It's not known how many grandcarers there are in Australia, but researcher David Cole has interviewed many of them for a new study.
Many of them are exhausted, many are traumatised and are dealing with children who have very serious issues around abandonment and behaviours. So they really are struggling to financially make ends meet, they're struggling emotionally.
Today he's gathered the grandcarers he's interviewed to brief them on the findings. The stress is evident.
All my time is with my granddaughter and my other children are missing out.
The studies found less than 20% of grandcarers receive a foster care allowance, and many are under severe financial stress.
The whole system is just grossly unfair. It's like, I feel like I'm a big cash cow for the government. You know, that I've taken on these kids so they don't have to pay for them.
I think it's great that more and more people have come out and sought support from groups like yours.
After hearing many similar stories, Liberal Senator Dean Smith is pushing for governments to pay grandcarers the way they do foster carers.
I think people would like to see much greater uniformity between what level of assistance is provided by state governments and what can be provided by the federal government. This is how we maintain a level of awareness. This is how we protect children. This is how we protect children. And in this conversation, yes, it's about the grandparent carers, but the grandparent carers themselves would remind you that always front and centre are the considerations about the welfare of children.
It would provide some relief to women like Dorothy Getter, who at age 75 is raising 3 grandchildren.
Seraphine's 12 now. I had her for about, since she's 4-year-old, so we had her for about 8 years. And we had her 2 years after.
Over the years, she's helped bring up more than a dozen young relatives, mostly because of drug use and partying by their parents.
To come see my grandmother every chance I got was good, because in River we didn't have the best of upbringings and they around violence all the time. But to come and visit my nan was like a real piece of heaven.
I still drive. I take them to school and back. But, yeah, it's very hard, I tell you. It's not easy work. Joe, you can play for a few minutes. Quick.
We need to recognise that this is a growing problem, a problem that is not going away, and one that deserves the attention of all governments.
So you know how they have the accident?
The only thing I know that what I'm doing with my grandchildren, I love them and I'm keeping them safe, and that's the most important thing, is protecting them.